So when joining the military, it can go one of three ways. You could either really like it, pour your all into it, and it's probably one of the most amazing experiences you could have. Or you could really not care, be neutral, coast through your enlistment, and get out. And then you could also find out that it's not for you, and each day is harder than the last. My name is Brian Lara. This is the story of that third option.
How did I feel about the Air Force first coming in and now? Well, first coming into the military, I was so stoked. Oh man. I was so ready to be so gung-ho, you know. Wear my camouflage, put on my boots, go to work, make a difference. But after being in until now, I'm so glad that I'm out. Like, for most of my career, I just felt like I was suffering. I'm sure a whole lot of people feel that way also. I know plenty of people that are probably on the line of suffering, for sure. I just never really got a break. That's how I felt in the end, but it's not really how I expected it to be. I always thought when I first came in that it would just be a good world, I guess you could say. Something awesome, different, something that I'd belong to, a family, is what they like to say.
I had realized that it wasn't for me after a very, very difficult moment. So a couple years in, when I was hit with the worst depression I've ever felt, I had a trip planned. I was gonna go to Spain. I was gonna see a friend that I hadn't seen in about 6 years. And everything was lined up. I had my leaves ready. I did all the paperwork. I had the plane ticket. Literally, I just needed to get on the plane the next day and go. And I remember the night before, I hadn't packed. I hadn't done anything. I wasn't ready. I remember just being in the guest bedroom of the place that I was staying at that time. I remember lying on the floor on the phone with my mom, telling her about how numb I was, about how I didn't feel anything. I remember telling her that I didn't feel sad, and that I wasn't excited either, and that I just laid down and felt nothing. I needed help. I needed someone to be there for me. And I just feel like I didn't have anyone.
If I were to try to have a heart-to-heart with some people at work, especially NCOs, like I said, they would just turn a cold shoulder. They don't really care about your life. They only care about theirs. It's a whole lot of selfishness. They only care about service before self. That's another big thing and another flawed core value.
Yeah, the military is just not what I expected, for sure. I just feel like I'm outside the military bubble.
And in the military, if you can be as depressed as someone that's on the brink of suicide, but as long as you're not suicidal or gonna hurt anybody else, you're okay to them. You're okay to continue working as if everything's okay, when it's not. This is what I mean by mental illness doesn't exist to them. And that you're okay when you're not. And they ignore all of those emotions. And it just makes it harder, because it makes you feel even more alone.
No, I don't think I really have enough free time to myself. I always feel like I'm working, because you always gotta keep up with the military standard, you know? Pretty much drove me to the point of depression. The first year being in, I'd say it was probably the very end point of the year. With me being the only airman that was coming in, there's a lot of people that wanna pick on the fresh meat, you know? With that being said, it just made it a whole lot more difficult for me to learn and actually strive and be hungry and actually learn for my job and be proficient inside of it. I mean, all that pretty much added, it all just collected over itself like a pile of junk. That's ideally what depression most of the time is like. It hit hard. It was pretty much instant. I mean, I did have a few mental breakdowns in my own dorm. It just sucked a whole lot, you know?
To still think that I have years ahead to do this, it made it even more difficult.
You really feel like complete trash. As for I pretty much brought myself down. I felt unmotivated to do anything at all. I was just pretty much counting down the days.
I mean, everyone tells me that, you know, I'm doing good. You know, I have a good life. There's no need to worry, but I feel like I'm constantly in the shittiest part I've ever been in.
And it just feels like there's no ambition because you're not pushed to be a better person. You're not pushed to be a better you. You're pushed to be a better machine for the Air Force. But when that's not you, all your support falters.
It was there. The depression was there for sure.
But it just seemed like anything that was going wrong, it was my fault.
I just really didn't enjoy doing anything at all. I was unmotivated and I didn't want to do anything. Didn't want to hang out with anyone. No friends, didn't want to talk to family. I was practically secluded, antisocial, as you would say. You feel like complete shit.
I really hope there's no one out there that feels like this.
So, when everything seems so hopeless, what do you do? Where do you find your hope?
100% listen to music. I just close my eyes and listen to music. I can say with 100% certainty that is what's kept me alive all this time. That's what's kept me sane. That's what's helped me, you know, work up motivation and courage. If I don't listen to music, then I'd be in an even worse place. I probably honestly wouldn't even be here, to be honest.
I'm a big music fanatic. I'll sometimes just dabble on my guitar or my ukulele. I also sing myself too. I like to really be really creative with myself.
I did try to find my little things that I could try. Filmmaking, photography, hanging out with people that I could. I went to school again. I did everything I could to keep myself occupied.
No, I don't regret drumming. I mean, if I had the chance to change it, I probably would, but that's not to say that I regret this decision in any way. I stick by what I've done.
All I want out of this is community. I want people to know that if you feel like this, it's okay. Because I was in a system for years that told me it wasn't okay, and I felt crazy for it. I felt like it was just me in my head. And for those that are in a similar situation that feel like I do, I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that there's others like you, that there are other people that do go through this. I want you to know that I'm here, and that I actually want you to message me and vent out anything you need to let out, because I'll be here for you.
Well, I want to be efficient for myself. I want to be a better person for me too, because I want to help people.
Since I got out, I feel like there was a big weight lifted off of my chest, you know. It's like Atlas and his ball, trying to carry and support his structure the whole time. But now it feels like the ball is shrunk into this little marble, and I just put it in my pocket.
I just hope that there will be some people out there understanding of how I feel.
What would I tell my past self if I ever saw him? Well, for one thing, I would tell him that I do get out.
With everything aside, one thing that I do want to say as well is I'm highly appreciative of everything that I've been given. I don't want to make it seem like I've taken all of this for granted, because I haven't. I've learned from this experience. I realized that this isn't what I want to do. I've come to realize that photography and film is my passion. I've come to realize that I want to travel the world and see brighter and newer things. Many things have come out of this experience. While most of them negative, there have been a few positive. Would I go back and change it? I absolutely would go back and change it. I would completely decide to not join, and I would do something else, because this isn't for me.
Another thing that I would tell myself is don't panic. It's not really worth it. Not really worth the stress, not really worth your time. You're gonna make it.